In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, who has appeared and who is present in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum. This is Minister Kevin Muhammad. Brothers and sisters, it has been a long time. Allah has given me the inspiration, and I find it necessary to once again talk with you. Without further ado, let's get right to it. If you get your Bible and turn to Revelations chapter 18 verse 1, we will begin there. Revelation chapter 18 verse 1 reads, "And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird." This is the key verse we will be discussing. The whole of chapter 18 of the book of Revelations concerns the prophecy of America and her fall and destruction. Notice, I said fall and destruction. Those are two separate events. Although the destruction rapidly follows the fall, let us proceed and reread the verses again with clarity. "And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, America is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird." I am announcing to you that America has fallen. But what do you mean by this saying, Mr. Muhammad? I live in America. Just look around. America is still here. Well, let us get a true understanding of what America really is. The land you are walking around on, known as America, is millions and millions years old. Of course, America came into existence on this land in 1776, just over 200 years ago. So what is America? America is a system of laws and practices and customs, simply put. America in its truest essence can be readily examined in its Constitution, its founding document. So what I am saying is, if you truly want to know what America is, or where its power flows from, just look at its Constitution. Think about this word, Constitution. This word is also used in reference to a person's health. You may have heard that when a person is sick, it may be said of them that they have a weak constitution. The definition of constitution is as follows: the physical makeup of the individual, especially with respect to the health, strength, and appearance of the body. But let us get back to our subject, the fall of America. Generally, when one hears the words, the fall of America, the image that this may invoke in your mind may be of, like the Statue of Liberty being broken in pieces and buildings in the background on fire and such. This would not be the fall of America, this image. This image would depict the destruction of America. The destruction will come soon after the fall. Well, it is 2014, and I am telling you that America has fallen or has failed. But let me give you an example so that you can follow and hold on to what I'm trying to tell you. Let's talk about women. A woman generally has a basic set of virtues, and if you want to be intimate with her, you must possess some qualities or virtues that she desires. Is that right? Okay. But what happens if you find a woman that will sleep or be intimate with any man for money or just a good time? We say that woman has fallen or is a fallen woman. Is that right? She has no virtue or principles that she stands on. She is just a whore or a prostitute or a harlot. Is that right? Okay. Now what happens to fallen women? They get diseases, they get beat up, robbed, hooked on drugs, murdered. Is that right? Okay. Those things that I just mentioned, hooked on drugs, beaten up, murdered, these things will be the destruction of the fallen woman. Like if the woman gets a disease like AIDS, or she gets murdered, this would be the destruction of her. Do you understand? Okay. So when we say that a woman has fallen, we are not saying that she no longer exists or she's not alive. What we are saying is that this is a woman of no virtue who will soon be destroyed. We are telling you that America has fallen. America no longer abides by her virtues and principles. America's virtues and principles are found in her Constitution. Her respect of and recognition of her Constitution is eroding rapidly every day. She is abiding less and less by her Constitution, which means that America's Constitution is now weak. The Fourth Amendment of the Constitution is basically gone. The freedom of the press, of the newspaper, is suppressed. The freedom of speech is now an illusion. Uh, New laws such as the Patriot Act directly violates her Constitution. But you must understand to whom the U.S. Constitution truly applies to. The Constitution codifies the virtue and principles that white people would enjoy in America. Black people in America are actually not true citizens of America, but that is another subject for another day. I believe your patience is too short for me to go into a full detail of that right now. I may in the future make a video and show you that you are not constitutional citizens of America. But in a word, if you were true citizens of America, you would not need the Voting Rights Act or civil rights. Further, in order to be president of America, you must be a natural born citizen of 35 years of age or older. As I told you, as a legal matter, black people are not citizens of America. So the mere fact that you have a black man being called the president of the United States shows you that America has fallen. For if America was standing with a strong constitution, this charade known as Barack Obama would not have taken place. So America has fallen. She no longer has a constitution that protects her true citizens, the white people of America. Now that we know that America has fallen, what we what we are now observing of America today is her destruction. Her destruction will take place over no more than a 20-year period, that is from 2012 to 2032. I went over this in detail in the video series Black Messiah 2012, specifically part 14. If you would, you'd be wise to go review that video, pause this video and go look at Black Messiah 2012 part 14 to get the analysis of the 20-year period of destruction. Now, you may be wondering why or how in the world will it take anything like years for God to destroy a country? A fair question would be, or rationale would be, well, couldn't he just do it in one day or a few hours? The answer is yes, and yes, he will. But what we are witnessing today is the destruction or deconstruction or dismantling of the power of America. And the power that I speak of in terms of current destruction or dismantling is her currency, her dollar. You see, basically the whole world bows to the power of the American dollar, which America backs with her military. Her dollar gives her strong influence and authority of the nations of the earth, over the nations of the earth, All major trade of goods and services between nations is governed by the American dollar. The dollar allows America to establish military bases all over the world in foreign lands and corrupt foreign governments to do America's will. So what Allah is doing is allowing America to witness the humiliating and absolute loss of power and influence around the world. Allah desires to bring America to her knees in disgrace. No other nation on earth was able to defeat America. So all will be made to bear witness that Allah alone brought America down. Allah desires to show the whole planet once and for all His power. This is why the nations of the earth mourn in the 18th chapter of Revelations, because Allah destroyed America's, Babylon's financial power of trade. Starting in the book of Revelation chapter 18 verse 11 we have, "And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise any more. The merchandise of gold, silver, and precious stones, and of pearls, and of fine linen, and purple, and silk, and scarlet, and all Thyan wood, and all manner of vessels of ivory, and all manner of vessels of the most precious wood, and of brass, and of iron, and marble, and cinnamon, and odors, and ointments, and frankincense, and wine, and oil, and fine flour, and wheat, and beasts, and sheep, and horses, and chariots, and slaves, and souls of men. The merchants of these things, which were made rich by her, shall stand afar off for fear of her torment, weeping and wailing. And they cast dust on their heads, and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city, wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by the reason of her costliness. So we see here from the 18th chapter of Revelation in these verses that the financial power of this future country, Babylon or America, we see that God destroyed her financial power, and the whole world or the nations that did trade with her suffered and wept and mourned. You can see this today if you're looking at the news, watching financial reports. Countries such as Argentina, Brazil, Turkey, Thailand, Japan. When the American dollar is weak or is going through problems, it causes problems in these other countries. Now let us examine America a bit more closer in terms of what the scriptures say about America. In Revelation chapter 18 verse 2 we have, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Now we see that this verse states that America has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. America was the habitation of the Indians, but was conquered by the Caucasians. We were taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that the white man is the devil, and America is not a home of white people or the habitation of devils. When the verse speaks of foul spirits and unclean and hateful birds, the verse here is referring to people and not actual birds. For example, America is full of foul and unclean and hateful people. An example of a foul and unclean person, would be like a homosexual. And an example of a hateful bird we can see as like a murderer, a kidnapper, or a rapist. As stated before, Allah desires to show the whole world, the whole planet, once and for all His power, and that we know that the devil of the Bible is none other than the white race. The following verses from the book of Isaiah makes it crystal clear regarding the devil and his greatest kingdom. If we go to the Bible and we turn to the book of Isaiah, starting in chapter 14, starting at verse 12, we have, How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Excuse me. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, and will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners? Here we see the book of Isaiah in the Bible refers to Satan or the devil as a man, a person, a human being.